I'm Govindan. I'm going to teach chemistry. First lesson, atomic structure 2. Atomic structure 2. Because already you learned the atomic structure 1 in the 11th standard itself. Here. So in this lesson you can expect for board exam 10 marks. Out of 10, 2 1 mark question, then 1 3 mark question, 1 5 mark question, altogether 10 marks. So the weightage, nothing but blueprint. 2 1 mark question, 1 3 mark question, and 1 5 mark question, altogether 10 marks. Okay. So what is atomic structure? That means in this lesson fully we are going to learn about the structure of atoms. What is atom? Atom is the smallest particle, further cannot be divisible. This is an old concept. But nowadays the proved one, atom is the smallest particle, okay, but atom containing some subatomic particles, namely proton, electron, neutron, all those things present. Okay. Okay. Now today first we are going to learn about the properties of electron. Electrons are dual character. What do you mean dual character? Dual mean one is a particle character, another one is wave character. It's a proved one. Okay. Electron acts as the dual character. One is a particle nature, another one is wave nature. The first, in this lesson, the first important 3 mark question: what is the difference between particle and wave? What's the difference between particle and wave character? First point: particles are localized in space. All particles are localized in space. For example, this is one particle, it's occupied one space. But here, this is delocalized. Particles are localized. These are delocalized. So, particle means each and every particle in the world occupying localized particular space. But what about wave? Delocalized. For example, think about this room. See, sound wave also there, then light wave, so many waves. So there are delocalized. Then second one is, these are not interfere. Not interfere. Because in a particular space already one object is occupied mean cannot occupy another particle in the same space. Cannot occupy another particle in the same space. Because already one particle is occupied. So that particles are not interfere. But if we think about wave, more than 2 waves can coexist simultaneously. Think about here, see sound wave as well as light wave. So many waves can coexist simultaneously, so that here is waves are interfere. Okay. Then what about the total values? Think about this much space, how many atoms, how many particles present, how to count? Just think about this hall. This hall totally one teacher and 35 students is there. How to think total number of students? You have to count all the students. Likewise, how many particles present mean you have to count all the particles. So the total value is equal to their sum. Total value is equal to their sum. Equal to their sum. But here the resultant wave may be larger or smaller. The resultant wave may be larger or smaller due to interference. This is very important 3 mark question. What's the difference between particle and wave character? The first character, particles are localized in space, waves are delocalized in space. Then for example, grain of sand or pen, pencil, any object, these are delocalized. Then particles are not interfere because in the particular place only one object only can interfere. What about wave? More than 2 waves can coexist, so that are interfere. Here total value is equal to their sum. Here the result is larger or smaller due to interference. Very important 3 mark question. The next question, very important 5 mark question. How to prove electron act as the wave nature? There are 2 experiments. How to prove electron act as the wave nature? One is the de Broglie, one is the Davison-Germos experiment, another one is G.P. Thomson's experiment. The first experiment, how to prove electron act as the wave character through Davis and Germos experiment. Davis and Germos experiment. In the year of 1927, Davis and Germos observed a beam of electrons from heated tungsten filament. These electrons are accelerated using high positive potential. These electrons are allowed to fall on the nickel crystal. These electrons are scattered in different directions. See, in the year of 1927, Davison and Germos observed a beam of electrons from heated tungsten filament. These electrons are accelerated using high positive potential. These accelerated electrons are allowed to fall on the nickel crystal. This is nickel crystal. This is incident beam of electrons. This is the incident ray or incident beam of electrons. So these electrons are allowed to fall on the nickel crystal. Now these electrons scattered in different directions. This is a photographic plate kept over here. This is a photographic plate. Okay. Now these electrons are scattered in different directions. This scattering way is almost similar to that of Bragg's X-ray diffraction method. Already the Bragg is confirmed for X-rays. The scattering way is almost equal to the Bragg's experiment. That is already proved one X-rays are wave nature. This diffraction method also almost equal to the Bragg's X-ray diffraction method. So we can come to conclusion these electrons also wave nature. Okay. So in the year of 1927, Davis and Germos are observed a beam of electrons from heated tungsten filament. These electrons are accelerated using high positive potential. These electrons are allowed to fall on the nickel crystal. Now these electrons are scattered in different directions. This diffracted way is almost similar to that of Bragg's X-ray diffraction method. That X-rays are wave nature already proved one. This diffracted way also almost similar to that of Bragg's X-ray, so that is also wave nature. So this is the diffraction pattern. Diffraction patterns are this is the diffraction pattern. Okay. You have to show both the diagrams. This is a 5-mark question. And one more experiment also is there. How to prove electron acts as the wave nature through G.P. Thomson experiment. This next experiment, almost everything same method like Davison-Germos experiment, but only two difference. That is G.P. Thomson's experiment. G.P. Thomson's experiment. Here, this is an incident beam of electrons. This is a crystal. Here, he used, instead of nickel crystal, he used thin plate of gold. Thin plate of gold. Now, this photographic plate is kept perpendicular to the incident beam of electrons. This is a photographic plate. This is kept perpendicular to the incident beam of electrons. Now, the electrons are scattered like this. Okay. This is the incident beam of electrons. Incident beam of electrons. It's a gold foil. This is the scattering way. This is a photographic plate. Photographic plate. The diffraction pattern also very same like Davison-Germos experiment. Diffraction pattern very same like Davison and Germos experiment, because both experiments are proved electron act as the wave nature. So only two difference from Davison-Germos experiment. One is in Davison-Germos experiment they used thin foil of nickel crystal, here gold. Another one is the Photographic plate is kept perpendicular to the incident beam of electrons. Only two difference from Davis and Germer experiment. So these two experiments are proved electron act as the wave nature. They can ask question how to prove electron act as the wave nature. These two experiments you can prove it. The next question, how to prove electron act as the particle nature? How to prove electron act as the particle nature? Okay. Now, electrons are passing through the zinc sulfide screen. It's nothing but think about the screen made up of zinc sulfide. Now, electrons are passing through the zinc sulfide screen. Now, electrons are produced on scintillation. Not spread out whole the screen. All electrons are produced on scintillation. Now, the scintillation is localized on the zinc sulfide screen. Okay. So that only particles are producing scintillation, not electrons. Okay, not other things. So that electrons are passing through the zinc sulfide screen. Now electrons are producing scintillation. Electrons are not spread out full whole screen. Electrons are producing scintillation. So that is only particle nature, mean particles only producing scintillation. So electrons producing scintillation. From this experiment we can come to conclusion electrons are particle nature. The next method is then the Thomson's E by M, charge by mass, E by M value calculation experiment also confirmed one electron is the particle nature. Not only E by M value calculation, that Mulligan's oil drop experiment also proved one. Mulligan's oil drop experiment also tells about electrons are particle nature. Then black body radiation, photoelectric effect, these all experiments are confirmed electron act as the particle nature. So first experiment through zinc sulfide screen. This is a zinc sulfide screen. Now electrons are passing through the zinc sulfide screen. Now electrons not spread out whole the screen. Electrons are producing scintillation on the zinc sulfide screen. So not a wave, particle only producing scintillation. So that electrons are producing scintillation means this indicates electrons are particle nature. Then the J.P. Thomson, the E by M value calculation, and Mulligan's oil drop experiment. Mulligan's oil drop experiment and photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect and black body radiation. All the experiments are already proved one electron act as the particle character. So electrons are dual nature. One is a particle and the one is a wave. So how to what is the difference between, first question, what is the difference between particle and a wave? Particles are localized, waves are delocalized. These are not interfere, that is interfere, because more than two waves can coexist. Then here the total value is equal to their sum, but in the case of wave may be larger or smaller due to interference. How to prove electron act as the wave nature? Through two experiments you can prove it. The first experiment is Davison and Germer experiment. In the year of 1927, Davison and Germer observed a beam of electrons from heated tungsten filament. These electrons are accelerated using high positive potential. These electrons are allowed to fall on the nickel crystal. Now these electrons are scattered in different directions. This scattering way is almost similar to that of Bragg's X-ray diffraction method. That is already proved one, X-rays are wave nature. This scattering way also almost equal to that experiment, so that we can come to conclusion electrons are wave nature. The next experiment, the next year itself, year of 1928, J.P. Thomson did the experiment. He used everything very same manner like Davison and Germer. Only two difference. He used instead of nickel, a thin foil of gold, and another one is he kept the photographic plate perpendicular to the incident beam of electrons. This experiment also proved, confirmed electrons are wave nature. The next experiment, how to prove electron act as the particle nature, means these experiments. That is a zinc sulfide screen. Electrons are passing through the zinc sulfide screen. Now electrons are produced scintillation, not spread out whole the screen. So now electrons, suppose wave nature mean, electrons are wave nature mean, it must be spread all over the full screen, not produced, not spread out whole the screen. Produce scintillation. So particles only produce scintillation. So from this experiment we can come to conclusion electrons are particle nature. Then J.P. Thomson's that E by M value calculation And Mulligan's ultra experiment also proved one, electrons are particle nature. Then in physics concept, photoelectric effect and black body radiation, these experiments are confirmed electron acts as the particle nature. Important 5-mark question, de Broglie's equation. De Broglie wave equation, de Broglie's equation. Okay. You assume that, think about photon. Suppose if a photon have that the particle nature, mean you can write that the energy is E is equal to mc square according to Einstein mass energy relationship. Einstein mass energy relationship. Suppose think about photon. If it is photon has wave nature, mean that energy E is equal to h nu according to Planck quantum theory. According to Planck quantum theory. So if it is photon has particle nature, the energy E is equal to mc square. If it is photon has wave nature, energy is equal to h nu according to Planck quantum theory. Now both are energy only, no? So you can write h nu is equal to mc square. But the nu is equal to c by lambda. So that you can apply the value over here. So h is equal to c by lambda. So h c by lambda is equal to mc square. Okay. So c cancel, we need only wavelength lambda. Lambda means wavelength. So lambda is equal to what? H by mc. H by mc. C is nothing but velocity of light. So c is velocity of light is equal to v. Both are equal. C is velocity of light, v also velocity only. So in the place of c, you can replace c by v. So you can write lambda is equal to h by m into v. But actually mass into velocity is equal to momentum p. mv is equal to p. So you can replace mv by p. So that lambda is equal to h by p. Is nothing but de Broglie's equation. Usually they will ask me one more question, what is de Broglie's equation? Commonly they will give this value, lambda is equal to h by mv or lambda is equal to h by p, that is de Broglie's equation. See again, if it is a photon has a particle nature, according to Einstein mass energy relationship, E is equal to mc square. Suppose if it is photon has wave nature, according to Planck quantum theory, E is equal to h nu, both are energy only. So that h nu is equal to mc square. Here the nu is equal to c by lambda. We are going to apply the value here. H c by lambda, that is equal to mc square. We need only lambda. So lambda is equal to h by mc. C is nothing but velocity of light. So c is cancelled by v. So you can write lambda is equal to h by mv. M into v, mass and the velocity is equal to momentum p. So mv is cancelled by, removed by momentum. So lambda is equal to h by p. It's not only applicable small particles like electron, it's very applicable for subatomic particles like proton, electron, neutron, all these small particles it is applicable. That is very important thing. The next one is, after de Broglie's equation, this is one important 5-mark question. Next very important 3-mark question in this lesson, Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It is impossible to measure simultaneously both the position and the momentum of the microscopic particle with absolute accuracy or certainty. It is impossible to measure simultaneously both position and momentum, nothing but velocity of the microscopic particle with absolute accuracy or certainty. Mathematically, the law is expressed as del x into del p is greater than or is equal to h by 4 pi. Here, the del x is equal to uncertainty position of the particle. Here, the del p is equal to momentum of the uncertainty particle. Very important 3-mark equation. What is Heisenberg uncertainty principle? It is impossible to measure simultaneously both the position and the momentum of the microscopic particle with absolute accuracy or certainty. mathematically, the log is expressed as del x into del p is greater than or is equal to h by 4 pi. Here del x indicate uncertainty, position of the particle, del p indicate uncertainty, momentum of the particle. It's a very important question, frequently they are asking in board exam. The next important 3-mark question, what is the significance of negative electronic energy? Significance of negative electronic energy. Significance of negative electronic energy. Negative electronic significance of negative electronic energy. The energy of electron is arbitrarily assumed to be 0. That's the important 1-mark question. The energy of electron is arbitrarily assumed to be 0. Just think about atom. This is an atom. This is in the middle of the atom present the nucleus. Almost K shell, L shell, M shell. In the shell, electrons are revolving around the nucleus in an elliptical path. That termed as orbit or shell. What we are assuming here, the energy of electron is arbitrarily assumed to be 0. That's nothing but 0 energy state. So already the energy of electron is 0. Due to influence of nucleus, electron not simply sitting here, this always revolving around the nucleus. So electron doing some work, that means spend energy, almost energy 0 level. Spending energy means going less than 0, that means negative, that's nothing but negative electronic energy. So what is the significance of negative electronic energy mean? The energy of electron is arbitrarily assumed to be 0. This is nothing but 0 energy state. Due to influence of nucleus, electron doing some work, that means revolving around the nucleus. So spend energy, spends mean already 0 state, already again spending energy mean going less than 0, nothing but negative, that's called negative electronic energy. That's very important 3-mark question. Okay, the next question, the next topic is shape of orbitals. Shapes of orbitals. The first one is s orbital. S orbital. Okay, for s orbital, what is L value? L value. I think you know the quantum numbers because already learned in 11th standard. Various quantum numbers. First one is principal quantum number, then azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and spin quantum number. For s orbital, what is L value? L value is equal to 0. L value 0. Azimuthal quantum number 0 mean that is s orbital. So L is equal to 0 mean what about M value? Magnetic quantum number also 0 because there is no orientation. Okay, so that L value 0 mean that is azimuthal quantum number value 0 mean M also 0. So that s orbital only there is no orientation, only one orientation. That is s orbital. You know each and every orbital you can fill maximum 2 electrons. Maximum 2 electrons. Okay, this is the shape of orbital. Shape of orbital is symmetrical in shape. Symmetrical, spherically symmetrical in shape. Just think about nodes. What do you mean node mean? This is the structure of atom. This is the nucleus. The first shell, second cell, like that, K shell, L cell, like that. The node mean in between the two shells there is no electrons here, no? There is 0 probability of electrons. In this place only nothing but node. This place only node. So what's the common formula for node mean? N minus 1 rule. N minus 1 rule. Suppose it is a 2s 2 orbital. Suppose this is a 2s orbital mean here the maximum node is 1 because 2n minus 1. Here suppose 2s mean n is equal to 2. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1 node will come. Suppose 3s mean 2 nodes will come. 3s mean like this. This is a 1 node, this is another node. 4s mean 1, 2, 3 likewise. Suppose it is a 5s mean 4 nodes. Suppose it is 10s mean 9 nodes. So common formula for calculating node is n minus 1 rule. Okay. So shape is symmetrically spherical in shape. This is the shape of, this is the nucleus, the S first cell, second cell likewise symmetrical. This in between is node. So for s orbitals are symmetrically spherical in shape. L is equal to 0. L mean azimuthal quantum number 0. Here M value magnetic quantum number also 0. So that there is no orientations and all. only one orbit. In that orbit only you can find maximum 2 electrons. Maximum 2 electrons. One is upward, another one is downward. Here to find a node mean for 2s orbital only one node, 3s orbital 2 nodes, 4s orbital 3. Likewise, the common formula is n minus 1 role. Likewise, we are going to discuss about p orbital. P orbitals are dumbbell in shape. That is next one is yes, after that p orbital. For p orbital, L value is equal to 1. So 1 mean, what about magnetic quantum number value? Start from minus through 0 till plus 1, altogether 3 orientations possible. For p orbital, L value is equal to 1. So m value start from minus through 0 till plus, so that minus 1, 0, plus 1, 3 orientation possible. So what are the 3 orientation mean? For px mean, p mean px, py, pz. Likewise 3 orientation possible. So that the p orbital split into 3 types like this. This is nothing but px, this is nothing but py, this is nothing but pz orbit. Each and every orbital you can find maximum 2 electrons. Actually, the shape of p orbital is like this, dumbbell shape. Dumbbell shape. Actually, 3 is there, no? Px, py, pz. We are going to draw the. I am going to draw the structure of px, py, and pz. See here, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, this one is the z. Actually, I am going to draw the diagram for px. Px mean along the x-axis like this. This is 2px. Suppose if we need 2py mean that dumbbell shape will be along the y-axis. That is x. This is y. So this is 2py. 2py. Suppose if we need 2pz mean this is x, this is y, this is z. If you need 2pz mean this is 2pz. So 2px orbit, 2py orbit, orbital, 2pz orbital. These are the 3 orientations. So because for p orbital, p mean L value is equal to 1, m value is equal to minus 1, 0, plus 1. So 3 orientation, so that p orbital split into 3 types like px, py, pz. So altogether 2 electrons, 6 electrons. So in p orbital maximum you can fill 6 electrons. The shape is dumbbell shape. So along the x mean 2px, along y mean 2py, along the z axis mean 2pz axis. The next one is d orbital. Okay. Next one is a d orbital. For d orbital, L value is equal to 2. L value 2 mean what about m value? Minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2, altogether 5 orientations. Magnetic quantum number tells about orientations. Here how many orientations? 5 orientations possible. How many orientations possible? 5 orientations possible. So that the d orbital split into 5 types like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are they? That's the question. The first one is think about x, y, and z. Okay. See first these two, that means x, y. So that you can call it as dxy. Then these two, y, z, dy, z. Then these two, x, z, dx, z. Then this square minus this square. So dx square minus y square. What is left? This one, dz square. dz square. These are the 5 orientations. Why 5 orientations? Because L value, that is the azimuthal quantum number value 2. 2 mean magnetic quantum number start from negative through 0 till plus value. So that minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2, altogether 5 orientations. So that the d orbital split into 5 types like this dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square and dz square. Okay. Now the shape of d orbitals are like this. Okay. Now these three are same thing like x axis, y axis, z axis. These three things are same type like this will come in between. Actually, you are not supposed to draw this diagram y axis, no need to indicate. So that like this in between. Only the axis only will vary. So these three things very same manner x, y, y, z and x, z. But this is very important one mark question. In d orbital, which one is occupying in the along the axis? That means somewhat different from others. X square minus y square. This is x axis. This is y axis. So that this is occupying along the x axis. X and y. See, these are somewhat different. In between x y, this is y, this is x y, d x y, this is d y z, this is d x z. These are in same manner. This is x, this is y, this is x, this is y, like that. But this alone somewhat different from this one. The x square minus y square mean the shape is along the axis. Z square will come in the only z axis. These are the shape of d orbitals. Yeah, dz square will come only in the z axis. Dz square mean will come only in, suppose this is z mean only z axis, along the z axis will come. Here it will come the nodal plane. These are d orbitals. So s orbital is symmetrically spherical in shape, p orbital is dumbbell in shape. For s orbital, how to find nodal plane mean? Maximum using that formula n minus 1 formula. So totally the 2s orbital have 1 node. 3s mean 2 node, 4s mean 3 node, 5s mean 4 node. Common formula n minus 1. For s orbital are symmetrically spherical in shape, L value 0, m value also 0. That's why there is no orientation, only one orbital. Think about p orbital. P orbital mean L value 1. L value 1 mean m value start from minus through 0 till plus value. So minus 1, 0, plus 1, altogether 3 orientations. So that p orbital split into 3 types: px, py, pz. Each and every orbital you can fill maximum 2 electrons. So 3 2s are 6 electrons. So that p orbital contain maximum 6 electrons. The shape is dumbbell shape. Then d orbital. For d orbital, L value is equal to 2. So azimuthal corner number 2 mean m value start from minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. Altogether 5 orientations. 5 orientation mean dxy and dyz, dxz, and d square minus y square and dz square. The shapes are like this. So also important 5 mark question.